Evening, everybody. As you know, I'm not in the best of my health, but still can manage to do something. Today is your first day of your Vipassana retreat. Am I correct? Yes. Talks will be given every other day. Because of the large number of yogis, you get an interview once in 3 days. It should be okay with you because you are not the total beginners. You can start by chanting the 3 refuges and the 8 precepts. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Pānāti pātā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Anatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Ādinādāna vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Adinādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Abrahmacharya vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Brahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Musāvādā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Sūrāmeraya majjapamādatāna vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Surameraya majjapamādatāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Vikāla bhojana vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Vikāla bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Acchagita Vadita Visukkadasana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Malakanda Vilepana Dharana Mandala Vibhusanatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Ucca Sayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Suppose you all know what the 8 precepts are about, so I don't have to explain to you. Otherwise, you ask Dr. Kuya or Sister Kim Fong. Yeah? Anybody doesn't know what the 8 precepts are about? Everybody should know, huh? Did you know? Of course, did you know? Did you know almost everything? So, tonight is a beginner's talk. The last retreat I was there, I was teaching was in Vietnam. I haven't been to Vietnam for some time. Last year one day I suggested that I start another retreat there. The main person agreed, and we did manage to hold a retreat there. No, Vietnam is a communist country. Huh? Like China, it is very careful about people coming in and start teaching and telling them things. So I was warned by some people. The people there doesn't think it's so dangerous. So I went anyway. It's okay. In a way, they are more open-minded than in China. China now very strict. You know? China now the monks cannot leave the country. And other monks cannot go in to teach because of the misbehavior of the Soling abbot. And now they are investigating into all the monasteries and temples, the monks. But for me, I just go there for a tourist. Okay. So I went in, the first thing they told me is, what are you here for? Tourist, okay. This time I went in, they didn't even ask me. He asked you, are you with the tourists? What do you call? Leasing Tuan. Tourist agency. Yes. Okay, no problem. As long as you don't caught saying things to people who shouldn't say. Since there are no spies around. So I went to Vietnam with the apprehension. It seems okay. Because we didn't make it very public. We didn't publicize it. We didn't call people to come in a retreat through the internet or to what, huh? So it's closed. It's like fantasy, everybody go there for holiday. And then they meditate. So we limited the number, which is fine for me. Around 14 Vietnamese and around 10 others from Malaysia and from Australia, things like that. So I have not been teaching there. Last time when I was there, very complicated, a lot of issues rising, health issues, organization issues. This one is much better because it's more private. What I discovered is that none of them know me because they have seen me before in the talks and so on. And he said it's been 10 years since I left the place. 10 years is not so long. It's long enough for most people to forget me. But none of them, they are still around, they know. But not many old people. Most of them are new to me. And many of them have not practiced under me, but they have practiced meditation before, their own style, under their own teacher. There were no teachers there, Vipassana, Samatha, and other things. Yeah. So I wasn't expecting too much, but the results weren't bad. One thing is the Vietnamese are very hardworking. Very hardworking people. You know the constructions of the building, yeah? They work day and night on the construction. When my Swiss friend came over for the retreat, he said, these Vietnamese are so hardworking. They complete a house, everything in 2-3 days. In Switzerland, it will take 2-3 months. They talk all over the place and then they finish it. They're extremely hardworking. When they come to meditate, they're very serious in their meditation. They seem to remember the suffering of the wars, Vietnamese wars. So, as we underwent the teachings and the retreat, number of things arise. Firstly is, most of them know what to do. Sometimes you have to explain a bit more, but generally they know walking meditation, they know sitting meditation. They do. But they do not know so clearly the difference between Samatha and Vipassana. A number of them, they mix up the two. A number of them think they know, but still they don't know. They say they practice Vipassana, they seem to be practicing Vipassana, but they are not. tas ni lo. This explains why, even though they have been practicing these few years, there is no apparent progress. No progress. Some have been very long following a teacher for 5-6 years. No progress. Some of them get results, but no apparent progress. They don't know what they're doing or getting into, obviously. There are a number of reasons why. One is beginners especially, they miss out the important points. They may be small points, but they miss it out and they think it is not important, whereas this is very important. Take for example, emphasize to them the difference between, what's the difference between the vipassana and samatha. First is the aim. Aim is important. It leads the mind in a certain direction. Secondly, the object of vipassana is the paramatha dhamma, the ultimate reality, the mind-body process. You hear that, you think you understand that, but you don't. So I have to explain more clearly the nature of the vipassana object, and how you watch it, and what is it really. That's one thing. This comes under the very basics of vipassana and instructions. The second is when you practice vipassana long enough, certain things will happen. But what is it that's happening? Thank you. You say when you cough, you cannot take fruits. So kiwi fruit, I don't know, would come under that or not. It may come under that. Since I took it, I coughed. Maybe. Because when they practice vipassana, things arise, things happen. These are experiences. And if you do not understand what is happening, then it does not have any effect on you. Because when you watch certain things, objects, certain things arise of you, and you find it somewhat strange, and you ignore it. You cannot ignore it. You have to report. it may be something important that it is beginning to arise. You need to develop it, and from the development of those experiences, concentration, insights progress. If you just ignore it, well, it's one of those things. I go back to watch my rising, falling, sitting, touching, pain. It doesn't develop. Because the plant that comes out, you need to take care of it. You leave it to the weather and they just crush it. It's important even for those who have been practicing for some time. Many times I met, especially in Taiwan, people who have been practicing and they're having some results. They had a teacher, and they still have a teacher that teaches them from the start. But certain things are not clear, and so they don't understand their experiences much. And because of that, the experiences go round and round and round, and doesn't develop. The third thing is people make mistakes. For example, you follow rising and falling, you watch rising and falling. It's not just following or watching rising and falling. It's a matter of understanding, seeing clearly the experience of what it is. So people watch rising and falling, they just follow the rise from beginning to end, and then beginning to end of falling, up, down, down. Then we get certain concentration. That's about it. It's not about just falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. It's about watching it, the sense phenomena, moment to moment. That is the vipassana object. In the beginning, will give you rising, falling, and so on. That's the beginning. What is important is you don't stay at the beginning. You watch the phenomena, the Paramatta Dhamma, the ultimate reality. And you can center the awareness of the rising, falling. Then Vipassana opens up and progresses. If not, it just gets stuck there. It doesn't go anywhere. And people may be stuck at this level for a long time. They may be able to see rising, falling in different ways, and so on and so on, but they're still stuck. So I was there for 3 weeks. Most of them stayed 2 weeks. Understandable. They're working people. And towards the end of 10 days, you can see distinct progress. You can see the arising of vipassana concentration. You will see the rising of vipassana insight. Now, vipassana concentration is important for vipassana. It's actually a continuity of mindfulness which allows you to experience the 3 universal characteristics beginning with oneself. People who do meditation, after some time they do get some kind of concentration. And we call it vipassana, but it may be only partly or it may not be at all. But they still get some concentration. That does not give us to vipassana. You have to be clear what vipassana mindfulness is, how it arises moment to moment. As it is not vipassana concentration, then insights won't arise. Some of them have already concentration, but they are not vipassana concentration. So you have to tell them what is vipassana concentration, why is vipassana so important. For example, one lady, she was going to concentration very well. She was going to samatha concentration because soon enough she will do metta. When she does metta, the joy arises and all that thing it keeps with her. But that's not vipassana concentration. Other people watch the rising, falling, and they find it difficult. They cannot concentrate very well. Why? Because the objects are not so serene, so peaceful. And so they have to recognize the value of vipassana concentration, even though it may not feel so nice, so peaceful. But nevertheless important, there is some clarity and purity in the mind. Because vipassana concentration is not so easy to understand. It is a moment-to-moment arising, passing of phenomena, observed in depth, deep enough, so that the defilements, the restlessness don't arise. That the faculties become developed. Vipassana concentration takes some time to grow. In a way, you have to force it. Then there's finally the other question of insight. Amazing that these people follow instructions properly. And when they follow the instructions properly, in walking and in sitting and in daily activities, the vipassana concentration develops, and the vipassana insight also develops. Vipassana concentration is obvious in the case of walking meditation. Usually, if you don't do walking meditation properly, your insight concentration will not arise. It is not arise well. So, from the way you do your walking meditation, it's clear that you understand what is vipassana concentration. And from there you can develop the vipassana concentration further. And within a week, you can see the development of the perception of non-self. This perception of non-self is not so easy. to find or to develop. It comes spontaneously on observation of the characteristics and the nature of the Paramattha Dhamma. You see them practicing, observing the objects, and you push them, you observe them clearly and clearer, then it happens. Because it's something that they have not experienced before. It's not something that you think about, not something that you imagine. It's something when you watch things clearly as they are, they're simply all the characteristics of non-self. And they tell this characteristic of non-self to you clearly. So it's clearly that observe that. And after that, the other things follow with the processes. It's amazing that many of these people, they haven't really got that insight before. They arrive in the insight after 1 week. And then to push further, some of them, when they get results, then they stay on longer. Number of them came for 10 days, they stay for 2 weeks. And after a few days, they see even more results. Of course, there's certain of them already have some good progress. For example, one lady, she's very sharp, to the extent that her teachers doesn't believe her. They say she's imagining things. I think she's gone crazy. So a friend brought him to me and said, "What do you think of her?" So I told him that this lady is not so easy to teach. Because you need somebody with some experience. You see, when she watched rising, falling, all those phenomena, she watched them very clearly as processes. They run very fast. Whatever she watches rise and passes very fast. And it goes into cessations. Blank out, cutting. That sort of progress which unmistakably are vipassana experiences. But people who are less experienced may also think that she has already arrived at cessation. Of course, for me, I know better. Because just arriving at clear cessations does not necessarily mean the ultimate. It's just clear cessations, that's all. The number of things, features in the practice in terms of three characteristics must be very obvious, must be experienced. Otherwise, the higher knowledges cannot be considered fulfilled, cannot be considered properly having gone through these insights. There are a number of all these things around, no? People don't tell you. Why they don't tell you? Because they think not up to standard. Because they are difficult to explain. Inside is not so easy to understand. But if you have been dealing with this matter, then you know. You put certain thing to test. See, one of the main things in the Vipassana is watching, when the faculty is mature, is watching the nature of the different sensations. It's like comes like a split, like a blackout, like a unconscious state, like a what? It comes and goes, comes and goes. There's plenty of this. So to see into, look into each of them. Usually they don't like to see because there's nothing there. But I force them to see. No, there's something there. Look! So she obeyed. Then she could get the meaning behind why the instructions are given. Just to go into that rank state to understand the nature of the false cessation. And so on. We went through quite a few of this with her, one after another, one level after another. At least she was convinced that she's progressing enough. She'll be back, I suppose. There are others also like that. There are a few of them that are better, well progressed. The cases of watching dukkha, suffering in terms of the nature of formations. The word suffering in nature of formations tend to give you the idea that it belongs to the dukkha jnanas, or the higher levels of insight concerning dukkha. In a way it is, in a way it is not. Depending how the dukkha manifests to the mind and how the mindfulness is affected and transformed. And when that happens, you can see that person practicing the flowering of that insight. There's another lady, old lady. She could sit for hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, no problem. That means a very strong concentration, you know. 4, 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours. You let them, they can sit. But I said, look, you're just developing concentration, you're not developing insight. You develop insight and remain at the levels of insight. Then the flowering of the levels of insight starts coming out in all different forms. She has read all those things of insights, but she has not really managed to pinpoint what the insights are in actual experience. Vipassana meditation is all about experience. So anyway, I went through quite a few of these people and they're satisfied. The last few days, one man came. He looks a bit kind of funny man. He talks in a strange way. He looks at you in a strange way. People all know about him, because he's in the Buddhist community. I made good friends with him. And I can tell you, he's one of the most happiest and generous person I've met in this world. Short fellow, Vietnamese fellow goes like that. Externally he is a bit strange, but internally he's very beautiful. So sometimes we cannot judge the person from the appearance. And you cannot judge the person from the first meditation experience. There need to be a follow-up. So by the end of the day, I was a bit bored with the place. 3 weeks I left. It's a beautiful place. It is a resort created by Mr. Bean. You know him in the December retreat. You met him? Mr. Bean, the Vietnamese man with a wife. Do you remember this little girl? Somewhere there. You see there's a girl yet another side quarter thingy. She's very mindful. Who else was in quarter thingy retreat? Remember? Were you in quarter thingy retreat? He was there in the first 10 days. In the last 10 days. Do you remember? A Vietnamese monk look like a Vietnamese. No, monk, a Vietnamese will look like a Vietnamese. He cannot look like a Chinese, he cannot look like a Japanese, he looks like Vietnamese. Who else? Sumi was there. Do you recognize him? Yeah, you see, Susan was there. Vietnamese is a Vietnamese. His brother built a place. It's a resort. They have single rooms. They have rooms about 2 rooms in one kuti, separate by half. Things that they have more, some which are bigger and so on. Usually, acres and acres of it. I heard that this brother was once the richest man in Vietnam. Now, he's gone down the ladder. He's no longer the richest. His competitor has overtaken him. Anyway, that's a sideshow. Well, I met him. And this man is amazing. He really got a mind of his own. He talks like a giant. This is shows his ideas, he asks questions. Very interesting. I had a nice time with him. And the price is very cheap. For that type of condition, they charge you $15 a day. In a single room, private bathroom, everything, aircon, heater, surroundings, all natural stuff, nature, water bodies, streams. The heart is at that, at that. Suppose I be there, what? No, not as an open retreat, as a private retreat with few people, 2 or 3 people, because he find it very strenuous to organize a retreat like that by himself. Okay, I think we stop the talk here tonight. No? You think about what is lacking in your practice, what you have been doing day in, day out, without thorough understanding. And one thing I did introduce to them is Cittanupassana, mindfulness of consciousness. That make a big difference, of course. Okay. Any questions? People are trying, in the meditation all over the world. I'm not taking up many of these jobs. Saya sudah tua, tahu nggak? Dah lama mati. So you have to learn to be independent. Never mind, Mr. Ong Tae-ing still around. The vanguard. Buddha Sasana. Okay, talk more later. The next talk.